Nimisha Priya was born on January 1st, 1989, in a small town in Palakkad, Kerala. From a young age, she excelled in school, and it was her local church that provided her with financial support to pursue her dreams of becoming a nurse. But there was one issue. She had not completed her school, leaving exams before she began her nursing course. This meant she could not practice nursing in Kerala. Despite this setback, Priya did not give up on her dreams. In 2008, she made a bold decision. She moved to Yemen in search of work. Yemen at the time was a place where many foreign workers, including healthcare professionals, sought opportunities. Priya found employment at a government run hospital in capital where she worked as a nurse. In 2014, Priya saw an opportunity to become more independent. She left her job with the hope of opening her own medical clinic. But there was a catch. Yemeni law required her to have a local business partner. That's when she met Talal Abdul Mehdi, a Yemeni businessman who owned a textile shop. With this help, Priya opened the AI Aman Medical Clinic, a 14-bed facility. She borrowed money, invested her savings, and hoped for a better future. However, just as Priya was starting to make her mark, the landscape in Yemen changed dramatically. In March 2015, the Yemeni civil war erupted, turning the country into a war zone. Despite the growing violence, Priya was determined to stay, especially since she had invested so much into her clinic. But things were not going well with her business partner. Dalal Abdo Mehdi, according to Priya, Mehdi stole money from her clinic, threatened her physically, and even began claiming to be her husband. To make matters worse, he confiscated her passport and prevented her from contacting her family back in India. Priya even went to the police, but her complaints were ignored. With no help from the authorities, Priya found herself trapped in a dangerous and hostile situation, but she kept fighting to keep her clinic running. Then, in July 2017, a tragic event occurred. Priya, feeling desperate, decided to take a drastic action. In the moment of fear and anger, she drugged Mehdi with ketamine, a powerful sedative intending only to incapacitate him long enough to retrieve her passport and documents from his control. But the situation took an irreversible turn. Mehdi died from overdose, and Priya, horrified by the consequences, sought help from another nurse. Together, they dismembered Mehdi's body and disposed of it in a water tank. Priya was arrested soon after near Yemen's border with Saudi Arabia in August 2017 as she attempted to flee the country. At the time, the media mistakenly reported that Priya and Mehdi were married, a narrative that would only add more confusion to the case. In 2018, Priya was convicted of murder and sentenced to death by a Yemeni court. But this was not just any trial. According to her supporters, Priya's trial was deeply flawed. The trial was conducted entirely in Arabic, a language Priya did not understand. She had no interpreter and, most importantly, no lawyer to defend her. Legal experts, including Indian Supreme Court lawyer K.R. Subhash Chandran, have called for a retrial, pointing out the violation of Priya's right. Despite these calls for justice, the Yemeni authorities did not intervene and the court upheld the death sentence. Priya was moved from one prison to another and kept in harsh conditions, where she struggled emotionally and mentally. But even in prison, Priya made connections with her fellow inmates, many of whom have supported her cause. In 2020, Priya faced a second trial, which ended with the same verdict, death. But her family and supporters refused to give up on her. They launched an international campaign called the Save Nimisha Priya International Action Council, calling for her release. Through this campaign, Priya's family managed to raise substantial funds, nearly $40,000, which they hoped to use as a part of negotiation for her release. Some of this money was transferred to the Indian embassy in Sana'a to aid in the diplomatic effort. In 2023, however, Yemen's Supreme Judicial Council rejected Priya's appeal, and in December 2024, the Yemeni president Rashid al-Alimi approved her death sentence, setting the stage for an execution that could take place as early as January 2025. Priya's family, particularly her mother, has remained committed to securing her release. In April 2024, her family was finally able to travel to Yemen. For years, India had banned its citizens from traveling to Yemen due to the ongoing war, but after a special clearance, Priya's mother, husband and daughter visited Yemen to negotiate with Mehdi's family for her release. Despite the challenges, the negotiations are going on. As of early January 2025, Priya's mother remains in Yemen. An Iranian official has even stated that Iran is willing to help Priya, signaling international interest in her case. But as the clock ticks down, the situation grows increasingly urgent. Priya's case raises many important questions. How fair is the Yemeni justice system? How much responsibility does the international community have in protecting its citizens abroad? And what happens when a person desperate for freedom is caught in a foreign country's complex and broken legal system? While Priya's supporters continue to fight for her release, the stakes have never been higher. Will diplomacy, pressure from the international community, or a change of heart from Yemen's leaders save her life? Or will the tragedy of her situation take a far darker turn?